Hello, hello. Is the audio coming in through just fine? Is it balanced properly? It's hard to tell on my end. Sounds good. Music's not too loud. A little quiet. Uh, Hold on. Let me see what I can do. Is that good? Is that better? It's very hard to tell because like I have a separate thing for the audio going to my headphones, and then like the actual amount that goes to the stream is weird, and yeah. But like my actual computer volume controls them both. It's a whole mess. I wasn't using this computer to stream before, so my setup is all completely different. My old computer for some reason just like refused to update like at all. It was just like I tried reinstalling the operating system. It was this whole mess. I tried like creating separate media. Like it was a whole like week-long affair that like just a big headache. Ugh. Am I sick this time again or no? I am. That's the secret. I'm always sick. I think I'm good right now, though. Hopefully. Just gonna give it a little bit for people to get notified and come in, and then we'll go jump straight into the chapter. How are you all doing? It's been like... Damn, the last chapter that I streamed was 16, which means I haven't streamed in like 4 or 5, maybe 6 months. I'm very out of practice, so apologies if I'm a bit all over the place, but you know, we ball. God, I love the academia theme from Metaphor. It's amazing. So good. There's almost no active community on YouTube. X-Force didn't post a review for 19 until a few days before 20. Yeah, I saw that. He must have been like busy or something. Yeah, like JOJOLands is a bit slow right now on the like wider communities, and it actually feels like slower than it was towards the end of JoJolian, which everyone was just like in full force at that point. And I don't know if it has something to do with like the community just being in like a lull after like all the stuff that happened with Stone Ocean's release. We can hope that it improves around the time that Steel Ball Run drops, but you know. The best part of the streams is people on Twitter won't take one sentence out of context and try to QRT dunk on you for it. Well... That's not exactly a problem anymore now, is it? Yeah, so if you haven't seen, my Twitter is gone, completely wiped. That's a hell site. I'm not doing anything anymore on there. So I am moved now fully to Blue Sky, and if you wanna follow me on that, I'm pretty sure I put it into the description. And yeah, check me out over there. Trust me, it's way better over there. Way, way, way better over there. You can actually talk and say things without a constant fear of people willfully misinterpreting you for engagement. It's wonderful. Yeah, the only sad thing about it is, like, it's all gone, which, like, all the, like, stuff that I posted, all the threads I made, whatever, is all, like, not publicly accessible anymore. I still have it. It's a bit, like, of trouble to actually, like, get all the stuff back, because I have to, like, I can't search it up or anything. I have to scroll through my archive that I downloaded, but like, it's not publicly accessible anymore, which is a bit frustrating. But you know what? Peace of mind is, you can't put a price on that. You really can't. Twitter was always kind of not great, and now it's a bit worse than that. So it's a lot worse than that. Are you still gonna announce live streams on Twitter, or is that gonna be done on Blue Sky only in the future? I already announced this stream on Twitter, so I guess I'm doing both. Yeah, like, the Twitter is just gonna be used for notifications. That's it. I'm not gonna be, like, having any discussions on there, posting anything. I don't know what the future is gonna look like in regards to, like, how I post on JoJo stuff, but I'm still doing the, like, weekly announcement, week before announcements on Blue Sky. That's gonna continue unperturbed, I guess. But yeah. 13 minutes? You know what? I think that's long enough to say that anyone who's gotten the notification has gotten it, and we can just start up the chapter. How's that sound? I was going to do this, like, at the point it released yesterday, but, like, I had to, like, I didn't even have Streamlabs downloaded on this computer, so I had to do some setup and stuff, and even then, like, right now I was still finagling things right before we started, but yeah. So, Glory Days Part 2. Should we keep the academia theme? There's a bit of a high octane fight, so maybe it might be better to go for something. Let's go with this one. No, that's a bit too chill still. Screw it, let's go with the battle theme. Let's get some Buddhist sutras going. Not that one. How's that sound? Is that good? Audio's not too loud? Yep. Alright. Glory Days, Part 2. So last we left off, if I can remember correctly, I think Jodio was like cooped up in the bathroom and Bobby Jean was pursuing him on foot. Actually, we can just like go back to the previous, yeah. Alright, so Jodio steps up, he's like, nothing personnel, kid. And then Bobby Jean ejects bullets from his back. Not sure what's up with that. Then he's already fired in this direction. And then Jodio just like puts up November Rain, repels the bullets. Bobby Jean is like, slay, and then pursues him into the bathroom. And then, yeah, Jodio is holed up in the bathroom, and he's like, I can't breathe, and the effects of that girl's bag's groove is hitting him, and he has a pulmonary edema. Don't know what that means. I have not done my research since, but you know what? It's the thing that the bag screw stand infects people with. Cold-hearted pursuers attack from inside and out. Okay. That's kind of a... I like that little, like, from inside and out. Like, that's fun. Audio's not... sorry for checking so much, but, like, the audio balancing is fine, right? Like, the background music isn't overpowering my voice. Because I always, like, go back and listen to it, and it feels like the audio ends up being, like, the background music ends up being either too loud or too low. It's fine? Alright. Slip through the hail of bullets. I really like this cover page. This is really fun. Something about November Rain, I'm a bit quiet. Okay, well, is that fine? Is that a bit better? We'll just leave it at that. Edema is when a space that shouldn't have liquid / too much liquid gets liquid. Got it. Alright, makes sense. Slip through the hail of bullets. The series resumes. Stand shootout intensifies. Alright, so the crowd is just like a mess right now. Active shooter in here. Seems to be a real gun and not a stand gun like Whole Horse, but we'll see. Okay. My heart. My heart is... Okay, and yeah, that girl's bag's groove. I mean, it's just bag's groove, right? That girl's just the chapter title. I'm just gonna keep calling it that girl's bag's groove. It sounds fun. A real gun with seemingly infinite magazine capacity, yeah. A stand that falls straight down from above like rain. Doesn't seem like it can attack from the sides. Well, we know that's not true. We've seen Jodio attack from the sides before. Range looks to be about a 3-meter radius. Those water drops have the power to push against the surface, and they exert a formidable pressure that can easily pierce through muscle and bone. If they hit their target, that is. In a way, they're kind of like bullets themselves. Like the gravity drops. I believe that's why like the effects of the stand were said to be in the volume release. Like it's gravitational pressure instead of like water. Oh, what the hell? Okay. Dosh, dosh, dosh. The stand is like... It's so hard to visualize in motion because of the fact that it's a manga, but like he's sitting there while the slow moving bullets are like pushing through. It's very interesting, but you know, it's hard to keep in mind what's happening a lot of the time because obviously manga is a static medium instead of a time-based one. Don't tell me that the bullets can like curve upwards. Okay, and then Jodio has to defend himself, so yeah. And then Bobby Jean retaliates again, going through the door this time. And then, again, Jodio reflects the bullets using the rain. It's very, like, I think it was only last chapter that we saw that he has the ability to do this. What's it called? Like, the kind of force field effect. It's very... I don't know if that's physically accurate with how the stand is described, but you know what? It's cool, so... Eh. Does anything else really matter, you know? That's the sound of the toilet breaking. Did I hit my mark? This is like... Okay. Aims down. Kicks open the door. And Jodio is just like... Ooh. He is not having a good time right now. Ugh. Still no hits, eh? Is anyone gonna mention he's soaked in toilet water now? You know what? Let's just not think about that. You know, there's a lot of quote-unquote water going on. Most of it is probably just November rain, you know? Just don't think about that. Still no hits, eh? Cut it out. No more suspicious moves now. Get that left hand away from your pocket. No, wait. That's right. She mentioned you guys having a lava rock. Yeah, that's right. She said they're taking advantage of some sort of system to take the north slope of the island of Hawaii that's currently owned by Howler Co. I can't imagine how, but a lava rock is allowing them to strip Howler Co. of all their assets and make them theirs. And a whopping $50 billion. So one of these people has to have it on them. So we remember that Howler specifically told Lulu not to tell Bobby Jean about what the lava rock is doing. And I think the reason for that is Howler thinks that Bobby Jean, now knowing that what the lava rock's properties are, will have like a temptation essentially to take the lava rock for himself, and that'll cause the Lulu and him to essentially be at odds, and they won't be able to defeat the gang anymore, is how I think this is gonna play out. Alright. I'll give you a chance to cut a deal. Slowly take everything out of your pockets and show them to me. You have it, don't you? Hand it over. So... I think this is similar to... Yeah, like the area, the bathroom stalls are like quote-unquote wet. And it reminds me of back during the Rohan fight, where Jodio kind of like let November rain accumulate water on the ground, and then that basically made it so heavy that the ground collapsed under him, is what I think is going on here. Sorry, but I ain't got it. Oh no, it's just dropping from the ceiling. That's That's smart. Okay, I wasn't expecting that usage of it. How did the water get on the ceiling though if it only is supposed to go downward and then be affected by gravity? Is it just dropping from the actual stalls or shattered water droplets? Did it go through his head? Oh damn. Just one hit and he's out. That's crazy. God. Oh damn, Lulu. Ah, she's a brat, the poor girl. Yeah. Yeah. And then that girl's bag's groove coming out of Jodio, I guess, at this point? Is it just to, like, come back and protect her? That seems counterintuitive. Or do they just, like, have a mind of their own? Ah, Pink-chan, this place. Huh? Where are we again? Oh, I'm sharing a bed with Pink. Alright, come on, Usagi. I didn't realize we had that sort of relationship. Finally, we're in bed together. Usagi, come on. Huh? Hey, what's going on? Why is he here too? Oof, that's brutal. I don't know what he was to you, but once you're done crying over him, you'll be leaving the hospital with us. Got it? No ifs, ands, or buts. Oh damn, like the SWAT team coming in because of the shooting. Jodio's first kill count. Oh damn, that is the first on-screen kill by Jodio. Huh. Interesting. He seems to be cool with it. So where did they take them exactly? Is it just in the same hospital? Or did they go to a different hospital? You're awake? We're in the ICU. There was a shooter in the hospital and he shot you in the elevator. Can you tell us your name? The injuries you suffered were only minor. We removed the bullets and sealed the wounds. You have some incredible muscles and physique, you know that? Anyhow, could you tell me how many fingers I'm holding up? 6. Wait, what? Out. He's messing around. By the way, what'd you do with my clothing and boots? I sure as hope you didn't cut them off with scissors. Those cost $2,000. What? They in the locker? You still need to rest, and we have more examinations to do. I'll be right back. Oh, he's out of there. Paco, hey, over here. You okay? Dragona. Oh, and Jodio. Is everybody okay? Yes, for the time being. But bad news, it looks like Howler knows who we are. The lower floor is crawling with cops. Usagi and Charming Man are down there. They're safe. Once Usagi fixes the security cameras, we can leave the hospital. Oh, I thought that was pretty. Did they get our faces? You think they'll send more people after us? Not sure. I don't think they know what we look like quite yet, but I'm sure they will sooner or later. We've got to get away from this place. Also, it looks like Howler knows about the existence of the lava rock. I think that's what we really need to worry about. Paco, what's that bag? I don't know. It was left there with my clothes. It ain't mine. Not sure whose it could be. I don't know how many casualties there were from the stray bullets, but it might have been one of theirs and got left with my stuff on an accident. And it's the land registry deeds or something. Oh, it was the stuff dropped by the bankers in front of in front of the building. Right, now I remember. Somebody else is left there by accident. And now they have it and it's all theirs. And that's the power of the lava rock. The patient sitting in the bed over in the ICU. Look, who do you think he is? This bag is his. According to his ID, he's an employee of Dolphin Bank and the general manager of the corporate sales division. There are documents in his bag, and from what I'm looking at, it seems that Howler himself has a loan from Dolphin Bank. And this person is in charge of collecting the debt. For some reason, he's here in this ICU and has all those documents here with him in this bag. Huh. He was shot. Wait, hold on. Then a bank employee who was in the process of collecting a debt happened to stop by the hospital, and he got caught up in the shooting. Yeah, it seems noteworthy. And then somehow his bag ended up here by mistake. Who has the lava rock right now? Was it Dragona? Yeah, I think that's Dragona's patch. Was it this? No, not yet, Sophie. Please, I'm begging you, stay in the wheelchair. Come on, Dad, I told you I need to use the bathroom. Don't come with me, I'm fine on my own. And tonight I gotta get dressed up for a hotel beach party I'm going to. Ah, it's the lady from the registry. Huh. Oh, is it just because the bags group is gone, or is this part of the lava rock stuff? Congressman, you signed it, the approval. The one about Howler's land impropriety of the Hualalai North Slope. Ah, right, the signing. Did I do that? So long as there's no concrete proof, there's going to be a question of responsibility, but rumors are already flying every which way. No, I definitely approved it. I'm elated that my daughter may be back to her old self, but I can't shake my suspicions of Howler's chemical terrorism. My decision has not changed. That Howler isn't getting away with this. He's gonna be taken down a notch. So... What I think we really need to focus on here is, like, the side effects that come about from the mechanisms employed by the lava rock in order to accumulate money. So, like, this banker, obviously, he was kind of, like, put forward as kind of a piece of shit, right? Like, neither him or Howler are particularly good people, but, like, in the process of the lava rock essentially trying to shift the wealth from Howler to JoJo's gang, we sort of see that, like, he was caught in the crossfire and was basically nearly killed as a result. And so far, that doesn't really, like, impact us very much, because obviously, like, we're not supposed to care very much about this guy. But if this is the way that the lava rock functions, think about in the future, if only one member of JoJo's gang has the lava rock at any given point in time, why would we assume that it's not going to discriminate between other members of the gang and just, like, random passerbys, right? Like, I'm not alone in thinking that, right? It seems like whoever is in possession of the rock at any given point in time kind of is putting their allies at risk in a certain sort of way. Like, I don't really know how to, like, fully phrase it, but yeah, that's what's going in the back of my head right now. I'm glad the receptionist woman is all better. But from what he said, that means the lava rock's rule is still doing its thing, sure as hell. There's things of monetary value coming our way. JoJo, could you be more specific? What exactly are those documents in the bag about? It's a total of $38 billion. Howler put the North Slope of Hualalai up as collateral to the bank to borrow money. That's what these documents are about. 38. And also, there's digitized contracts in here, and even his smartphone. Jodio, I'm just asking this to make sure, but what do you mean by collateral? Collateral, meaning he took out a mortgage on the Hawaii land as a guarantee for his debt. In other words, if the politicians started acting, then Howler's assets would be frozen by the power of the state. But before that could happen, the bank said they wanted to collect the money they'd lent to Howler. That's what these documents do. I know Howler are the bad guys, but the bank that knowingly lent them money is even worse. Yeah. We'll use these documents to collect that debt in their place. That's what we'll do. The lava rock's flow is absolute after all. And another mention of like the flow, as Narisuke put it, from JOJOLian. Like all these things in the Steel Ball Run universe, so to speak, they kind of come back to the same like thematic idea of like luck and fortune and like the pathways that they interact with through the environment. It's really interesting. Hold on a sec. Jodio, what exactly did you up and decide we're going to do? What are you doing? This rule is the new rule. This is the rule of the lava rock. It's telling us do it. If we're gonna collect a debt, let's really go for it. Enough that both Howler and the bank can never get back up after. Oh, you think we can do that with that bag? Once we leave the hospital, let's meet at Meryl May's place. I get the feeling the time for collecting the debt is approaching. Paco, looks like he weighs maybe 55, 60 kilos. Can you carry him? It's the bank that lent the money to Howler. Let's bring him with us. We can't leave him here. Bring him. Say, is he even alive in the first place? Alright. That's the chapter. That was a good one. I like that. Alright. Hello, hello, chat. So, I'm gonna bring up my clipboard. Yeah, so like Bobby Jean's whole thing of what's it called? Like how he was killed, kind of like sudden for me. Like it was only a single, well, not a single page. I think it was a double page spread. It was just like he was on the offensive and then he was out, which, you know, it's kind of cool, but like I don't know if it hit entirely for me, but like I thought that in general the chapter was really good at like maintaining this intensity towards the beginning. Really fun. What are they even going to do with Lulu? Probably look into what she knows about Howler. So like next chapter will definitely be torturing a child. That's a given. New Joe bro. I don't think we're maybe. I feel like Lulu kind of just gave up, like, towards the end. Like, she didn't really need to remove Bag Screw from them. I feel like we should have at least gotten Jodio being like, hey, remove your Bag Screw or else he'll kill you, or something. But, what are you gonna do? Let's go back to Academia thing. Yeah, there we go. Okay. Merle adopts her, and then we don't see her again for 70 chapters, and she comes back for 2 chapters before dying. Ah. Honestly, I don't know where they're gonna go. We're gonna go for here with Lulu. Like, it could go in any direction. She has the ties to Howler, though. Why do you think Araki gave the "I'm glad the receptionist is okay" line a full page? That really stood out to me. Let me go back to it for a second, because I didn't even notice it was a full page. Towards the end, right? Yeah, I don't know if it was any particular reason for it. It kind of just looks like an establishing shot to me, just for the sake of like yeah, it just kind of seems like an establishing shot to me. Although Araki, man, you gotta make up your mind on how tall Jodio is. Like, it feels like he completely fluctuates as to whether he's the shortest one in the group or the, like, second tallest. Like, it's weird. He changes heights constantly. I kind of prefer Gremlin Tiny Jodio. He has that energy to me. He's closer to the camera, but I don't think that really, like, works out with the perspective. Like, Dragona's obviously a bit further back, but I don't know. Like, the perspective is weird in this case. Would you say the beginning of part 9 has been strong, if not stronger than part 8? Because I think so. I agree. I think that, like, part 8 has a really strong initial, like, hook, and then it kind of, like, it peters off as soon as you know what's going on, like after the fun arc. And then after the fun arc, you have like California King Bed. I'm not a fan of California King Bed. Born This Way, like, Born This Way is okay, but like, it doesn't really like get good until we get to Lemon and Tangerine for that. And then directly after that, it feels like we go in a completely different direction with Shakedown Road, which is like alright, but you know. It's kind of like a very slow beginning and doesn't really ramp up until the introduction of the Rock Humans. But at the same time, I don't think it's like middle of JoJolion is, I think, the best part of JoJolion. Like before everything before like Kato's return to the house. I think that's like probably the best JoJolion gets. Yeah. Why is Dragona on their tippy toes? Araki. He just draws characters like that a lot. Put Charming Man's reaction in there? You gotta be more specific than that. I don't remember what you're talking about. Looking through the pages. Oh, yeah, the new volume cover also got dropped alongside the, what's it called? The JoJo magazine cover. Let me grab that. Volume 5 is just called Deed. That's kind of sick. The painting on this cover is also like really pretty. Look at that. That shading is really good. Like, just generally really good colors. Deed. It's even in English. Deed. Just drop that right there. What do you think about Pesky Chin in the magazine cover? Hold on, let me get that. JoJo Magazine 2024 Winter. It's popping up for some reason. Hold on. Yeah, that pesky chin. How do you pronounce it? It's Italian, so like Pescishin? Yeah, he just doesn't look the same without a chin and his neck being part of his head. Oh yeah, Usagi is just like, he's thriving at the end here. Like he like nothing is phasing him. Hold on. Where is it? He wasn't in with the rest at the end, but it, like, as soon as Bag's Groove is gone, like, you have to keep in mind, what's it called? You have to keep in mind, it wasn't like a stand effect that was getting to him. It was a stand attacking his, like, brain and shit. And he just, like, as soon as it's not getting attacked anymore, he just, like, he's fine. Pesci, yeah. Alright. Just a very minor case of serious brain damage. I mean, it was kind of like that before, so let's not think about it too hard. His head literally explodes in the previous chapter. He was out of it. But he's fine now. Don't worry about it. Don't think about it too hard. Let's just throw that there. He's also, like, he's kind of being real weird about Dragona here. I'm not a fan of that. Don't be a Joshu, Usagi. No one wants to be a Joshu. Yeah, Charming Man's face there is pretty good. What else? Someone commented the covers are referencing that Colosseum gestures. What does that mean? Oh, the thumbs up, thumbs down, right? Yeah, in the Colosseum where like the Emperor would like thumbs up, thumbs down for people to die. It's really I don't think it's like supposed to be more significant than just the fact that like it's the same poses and both La Squadra and Jodio's gang doing them. Like, it's not supposed to be any more significant again than that, but like I do find it interesting how they're being paralleled here, even though like they have no Pesci, they have no Malone, I guess. And like yeah, like the pair-ups don't really make a whole lot of parallel sense, but you know what? It's interesting that they're being paralleled in the first place. I don't think it's significant though. Like, it's very obvious that Jojo's gang is supposed to resemble Passione in a certain way, but I don't think it has anything to do with like La Squadra. They're kind of opposites in that regard too, yeah. Paco is the protagonist. Pesci, Malone, Lusso, and Joshua don't have Team JoJo equivalent. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I think Araki is writing Team JoJo as a villain group and seeing where their heart of gold lies, and the full page of Dragona being relieved as a civilian lived is the answer. I definitely think that like this group is probably going to be the most morally ambiguous of any of the groups we've had so far in JoJo, but I wouldn't go so far as to say that they're a straight out villain group. Like, JoJo is obviously very concerned with the fact that that like the bank is apparently worse than Howler in his eyes, and kind of wants some moral justice for that. That's the way his brain operates. Actually, there was recently from the new Manga in Theory and Practice that JoJo Wiki put up, Araki talking about his thoughts on JoJo's development. Let me see if I can grab that and share it. This is coming from the JoJo Wiki Blue Sky and Twitter account. We should just like go through them individually, actually, because they're all pretty relevant. Alright, so first up we have this. Move it so that it's more visible. And again, this is from the JoJo Wiki Twitter and Blue Sky. Go follow them. They post like information like this very often, and they're pretty much the most like they're good. They're like good sources of information for JoJo stuff. You don't have to worry too much about like their sources and stuff. They usually have pretty good basis for their stuff and well documented. Yeah. Again, sorry, I haven't streamed in a while. My head's in a few different places. Alright, the rock aspect of the rock humans is also connected to part 9. I find it interesting that like it feels like he's immediately coming out of the gate and saying like, alright, they're connected, but they're not here, right? So like, I mean, there's still like the possibility that he's being coy about it and there are secretly rock humans, but like it's clear that they're not as significant a part of the story of JOJOLands as they were for JoJolion. So like, maybe one character is secretly a rock human, but they're not going to be a very prominent force at any point in the story. I think is pretty clear. The JOJOLands in the form of the lava rock with mysterious powers. JoJo has had a focus on rocks since the Stone Mask in part 1, with the underlying themes of that locations where newly forming materials emerged on Earth contain a kind of life energy, which I think is very cool. Like, it's very obvious that like throughout all of JoJo, there's been a lot of themes, and like just like general iconography associated with rocks, which, you know, it's fun because like JoJo's very music inspired and like rock, you know. yeah, like it goes on to say like the red stone of Asia, the stone bow and arrow. Although I thought it was like the bow and arrow just like contained a part of like, it was a meteorite in the original story, right? In the original continuity, like the natural resources workers found. I might be misremembering. And like I think the bow just an arrow just like the arrow contained a fragment of it. Yeah. And then cars, and then there's a lot of rock related things in JoJo. Volcanoes are places where you can feel that kind of energy in the rocks. I considered various volcanic regions worldwide when I was deciding on the setting of Part 9, such as Indonesia, Suruga Bay near Mount Fuji, and Mexico, but eventually settled on Hawaii. Honestly, a JoJo part set in Indonesia or Mexico would have been really fun. Like, I like what we got, but yeah, like, it's very interesting that those are possibilities, and I kind of want to see what it would have been like if we got that. Anyway, yeah, that's the first one. Let's just slot it right in here. Okay, and then the next one, also from the new manga theory and practice, the new manga techniques book, was this one. I believe this one talks about Jodio. The protagonist of Part 9, Jodio, is naturally unlike previous protagonists. Since JoJo has a rock-like feel to it, he's a bit antisocial, or bluntly speaking, a scumbag. I'm very curious as to what the original wording was in Japanese for that, because that's a very funny way of going about describing Jodio. This is a story about scumbags. He's comfortable committing crimes, so I combined Joe from JoJo and Dio from the villain to give him the name Jodio. And, like, it's very funny how on the nose that was. At this point, I don't think Jodio has any, like, blood relation to Diego. I think it's literally just, like, thematically a very on-the-nose name, and the significance it doesn't go any further than that. It's just kind of funny. So far, Jodio's relationships with his teammates are based on give and take, valuing money more than friendship. However, he is influenced by his family's income and environment around him. Part 9's storyline will center on this scumbag's journey of growth. And you know what? That's what I've been saying this whole time. I really think that, like, where we're headed with the JOJOLands is Jodio kind of being forced to, like, contend with the paranoia that he develops from, like, wanting all this monetary value and wealth, and, like, that coming into conflict with his relationship with others, including his direct sibling. Yeah, Jodio's not gonna be the main antagonist. Like, at the maximum, he'll be a villainous protagonist. But yeah, he'll be like Walter White or Light in Death Note, like something of that kind of variety. But I think we're going to see by the end Jodio develop into a character that is mostly just, like, not concerned with money anymore as much as he is concerned with his relationship with Dragona and his friends, and he might lose a lot along the way as he develops an idea of that. I don't see the entire group making it to the end of the part in general. Like, if most of the group didn't make it to the end in JOJOLANds, I don't see it happening here. I think the only part that didn't have significant casualties was Diamond's Unbreakable, which the reason for that's pretty obvious. A boy who got filthy rich in friendship. More so, I think that this is a story of one boy becoming filthy rich and then losing all of his riches. You know? I don't necessarily think that, like, to fulfill that, he needs to stay filthy rich. I think he'll be well off by the end, but, you know, not in a significant way. I think he'll end up giving up his wealth for personal fulfillment. At this point, Jodio's opponents have included scumbag cops and mysterious cats. Weird combination, with many other enemies yet to appear. For those who haven't read it yet, this may be a spoiler. Rohan Kishibe, who entrusts the mysterious lava to Jodio, is not an enemy. He's like Koichi Hirose in part 5, which I called that shit. I was like, alright, Rohan's essentially acting like Koichi here. And before Rohan even appeared in like chapter 1, I was saying that there was going to be some Koichi equivalent. I thought it was going to be Yasuho because, let's be real here, Rohan, like, this whole thing is, like, Rohan does not make sense as the person to do this. He just, I guess he's the universal constant of JoJo now, which is very funny. But, it's like Koichi Hirose in part 5, being more of a guide character, although it seems he fought against Jodio's group. He only appears briefly at the beginning and then steps back. In fact, Rohan had actually been in part 8's Morio all along and traveled from there to his villa in Hawaii, which just raises so many questions. But from the way Rohan speaks, it seems like, unlike Koichi, he's going to return at some point. Now, granted, it could be a Carrera scenario where he says that and then it never happens, but hold out hope. I'd like to see Jodio and Rohan interact once again once Jodio's had further development and has been using the lava rock for a while. I think that'll be very interesting. He could be like a marker for Jodio's growth. Part 9 has only just begun, but what's certain is that the story will revolve around all sorts of scumbags crawling toward the mysterious power of the lava. Jodio's team consists of scumbags, and their opponents are also scumbags, so this will be a battle between scumbags. I really want to know what the original word used for scumbag in the Raws was. And their opponents are also scumbags, so this will be, yeah. It's not a world where good and evil are clearly defined. Still, I believe that all humans can have some form of nobility, so I think we'll see a glimmer of a noble spirit unique to these scumbags as the story progresses. And yeah, like, that was the case in part 5, it was very similar to that, and I think we're going to see at least something like that here as the story develops. Evil versus evil trope, my beloved. It's a good trope. It's fun to see assholes pitted against each other. Rocky's found his new favorite word. Yeah. Alright, what else? Talked about that girl's bags grew. Talked about really, like, the suddenness that this happens feels kind of weird. Like, I think that's the only real thing that bothered me about this chapter. Like, this page just comes out of nowhere, it feels like, and it just ends the fight. We see the water coating the sides of the stalls before this point, but I don't know. It feels kind of just, like, sudden to me. I feel like there should have been, like, a little bit more build-up, like maybe 1 or 2 pages where a water droplet like hits his arm or something, and he realizes, and then bam, like it goes through his head. It's just like a bit for the suddenness adds to it. Maybe, I don't know. I just couldn't really understand what was going on when I understood what was going on, but I didn't feel very satisfying to me. I don't know. Might just be me though. Like, kind of just doing it all at once and just ending the battle that way, and then suddenly everything is fine, and like Usagi is healed, and Bagscrew leaves Jodio. That kind of just felt anticlimactic and rushed to me. I feel like you could have still gone away with like the sudden turnabout, where just like in the span of one page, Jodio gets the upper hand on Bobby Jean. If you didn't have also all that stuff just suddenly reversing when Lulu saw that Bobby Jean was defeated, that felt kind of eh. Anyone here gotten attached to Bobby? I have. I like Bobby Jean. He's fun. He wasn't quite what I was expecting, but like I like how he turned out. Actually, now that I think about it, I wonder if it'll be like more elaborated on in one of the upcoming volume releases, but we really don't know how the exact mechanics of Glory Days functions. Like, we know it makes slow bullets, but I feel like that's kind of weird with how it's portrayed. It might just be the fact that I can't really visualize it in my head to the same degree. Second worst gun stand in all of JoJo. There's only, well, shit, there's a lot of gun stands. There's Sex Pistols, there's Emperor, and now there's Glory Days. And I think at least one other. Manhattan Transfer, that's another one. And also White Snake, I guess you could count if you're gonna count Manhattan Transfer. And Tusk. There's a lot of gun stands. Does Soft and Wet count? I think Soft and Wet counts. And also November Rain if you only think about shooting downwards. Alright, like, there's a level of gun. Like, there's a kind of like Venn diagram of like projectile and gun stands somewhere going on there, like an alignment chart of gun stands. Like, I don't know. I should make something for that. That's interesting. Shooting stands, not gun stands. Yeah, same thing. They embody the power of gun. Steel Ball Run never had any gun-related stands. I mean, like, Tusk is like pretty much a gun stand. Like, let's be real. Like, it may actually shoot nails, but it's a gun stand. Like, it's a Western quick draw kind of thing. And then you also have Funny Valentine just using a gun alongside a stand that has nothing to do with guns. Yeah, you could make like a whole like alignment chart for gun-related stands. What else? Is there anything that I have not touched on about the chapter that you all would like me to touch on? Tattoo you as a gun stand. I did the science once, by the way. Part 8 is the only part without an actual gun shown. Did part 1 have one? Part 2 definitely did. Part 3 definitely did. Part 4, I can't think of one, but it probably did. Part 8 didn't have one, did it? Not even one of the rock humans had one? No. Damn, that's crazy. Oh, part 1 had the cops shooting Dio. Yeah, you're right. Soft and Wet's ability is so much like a gun, though, that it basically counts. What do you think is going to happen to the banker guy, Mac, who Jodio wants to take? They're going to tie him to a chair, and then they're going to torture him. I think that's what the next chapter is going to be. It's going to be a real GTA-like sort of scene. Maybe. They could just coerce him somehow. It's very strange, though, because I don't think that gonna happen to Lulu too. Yeah, who cares that she's a kid? Torture her too. I feel like they could just leave the guy and like the wealth will eventually come to them, right? I don't think they need to actually like do anything to the guy to like have the wealth be drawn to them. It kind of just seems unnecessary. It just seems like it's asking for trouble. Akahauler might get informed of Bobby Jean's death and Lulu's disappearance. I think he's definitely going to be the opponent of the next arc, and what that will look like, I guess we'll see. But like, we currently have them in, like, his wealth is essentially in Jodio's hand right now, but the deal isn't completely sealed, and he can probably like perform a turnabout by going after the lava rock and the banker, who is now in Jodio's gang's possession. So like I see the next arc being about them fighting Howler and Howler attempting to take back his wealth. And I don't think Howler will be successful in that, because I think the momentum of the story requires that Jodio's gang keeps the money, well, the wealth that they got from Howler. Yeah. I still don't see Howler like being anywhere near main antagonist status. Like, that doesn't seem to fit with the trajectory of the current story. Always a chance that I'm wrong, but yeah, that doesn't feel like it fits. What if Araki says he's the main villain in the book? I mean, like, if he's concerned about spoiling Rohan, I don't think he's gonna go that far, but it would be funny. Personally, I think Lulu's stand coming to her instead of continuing is a subconscious coping mechanism. It seems she generally wants a support group / family. That's sad. It kind of undermines the fact that she's a total brat. But yeah, like, I could see her joining the group. Her ability is very Fugo-esque. But like, the problem with Fugo is like he's very lethal and also very powerful, and Lulu's kind of the same in that way. I don't know. It'd be interesting to like have someone around like Tsurugi's age be a mainstay party member essentially, because I don't believe something like that has ever been done. Oh no, Emporio. Yeah, Emporio had something similar. She won't be Shigechi'd. Come on, you can't just use Shigechi as a verb. That being said, you know what could be interesting? Howler comes after Jojo's gang, right? Lulu is being held captive by Jojo's gang, but even with Lulu's kind of like father figure essentially being taken out by Jojo's gang, if Lulu kind of like finds herself being kind of like accepted by Jojo's gang and kind of jiving with them, I do think it's possible that like we could see Lulu turning on Howler and then joining Jojo's gang properly like that. I think that would be really interesting. Because like if her whole thing is wanting family, found family essentially, then like Jojo's gang providing that would be a very interesting way to take her character. I was just thinking of like Bag's Groove is pretty similar like stand wise to Smooth Operators, so I was just thinking of like Smooth Operators and Bag's Groove like playing now together. That'd be really cute. So many opportunities for stand interactions that we never get. Like it's a fun way to express the characters like internally. Lulu is also kind of like as Araki would put it, a scumbag, but you know that just makes her fit with the rest of these characters. Yeah, like the more I think about it, the more I'm warming up to the idea of Lulu being a new member of the cast. Like she didn't cause any permanent damage, clearly, as Usagi has seemingly grown back a part of his brain somehow. That shit just happens. But yeah, like, you know, that's gonna be kind of fun. Alright, anything else that we should cover before I end it? Also, damn, like Jodio is just like cold-blooded here. Like that's a crazy thing to say to a little girl. No ifs, ands, or buts. You'll be leaving the hospital with us. But once you're done crying over him, you'll be leaving the hospital with us. Like, Jesus. Do you think anytime soon we'll see a reference to a prior part? This is just before Johnny was mentioned in part 8, if I remember right. I mean, we already got Rohan. I guess we have Rohan, but I mean SBR and JOJOLands specifically. I feel like whenever we meet Barbara Ann properly, like actually get a chapter that focuses on her, Dragona, and Jodio, we'll get more of an idea of the Joestar lineage and what's been going on in the past 10 years, but yeah. I think we'll go a little bit without getting any content from SBR or JOJOLian, but we'll see. Dragona mentioned Usagi and Seaman are together, so they're probably taking care of Lulu. Like, your boss did something to my brother, calm down and such. I guess, like, yeah, Charming Man and Lulu have some stuff to talk about. I think they're probably just going to spend the next chapter getting information on Howler. Howler has already activated his stand and is, like, pursuing the group and the lava rock, so I think it will be just like jumping into the next conflict pretty quickly rather than having much downtime in between. Could you imagine when Barbara finds out about her kids being criminals? You know, don't even worry about that. Yeah, I'm really interested to hear about, like, Barbara Ann's relationship with the rest of the Joestar family. Because she almost has to know about, Holly's state, right? Anyway, yeah. I was initially thinking that there has to be some kind of JOJOLian follow-up in this part, considering how it ended, but now it's feeling more like JOJOLands wants to do its own thing. I mean, those two things aren't necessarily at odds with each other. JOJOLian absolutely did its own thing, but at the same time, there was a lot of follow-up to Steel Ball Run, especially with Johnny. And then we also had the Radio Gaga towards the end, so, like, you know, those aren't two necessarily conflicting things. Even Golden Wind, which I would say is the most, like, separated part in the entire story, it brings back Koichi, it brings back Polnareff, it what else? It ties Giorno to Dio. It has all these things that are connected to other parts, even if it's self-contained. Yeah, Diavolo sold any of the arrows. It's just, like, all connected in that way, even if it's the story itself is not directly connected. So I don't think we have to worry about, like, JOJOLian stuff never being acknowledged again. But I don't think it's ever going to be a focus, even though, well, I think it's possible, because you have to keep in mind, it's only been 11 years, or around 11. When did it start? 2023? 12 years? It's been 12 years since JOJOLian. So, like, there's no reason to assume that Gappy isn't around somewhere, right? We don't know what he's doing at this point in time, but, like, we know that he's doing something. And with the amount that Jotaro is involved with, like, future arcs in the original continuity, and Gappy essentially being, like, the equivalent to Jotaro in this timeline, you know. Thematically, though, I'm very happy with Part 9 as a continuation of 7 and 8's ideas. Yeah, like, The thematic through line of this whole new continuity is, in my eyes, very, very interesting. I really like the idea of like the mechanisms of nature and like how forces move around, like wealth and fortune and stuff like that. All these abstract ideas being like rooted in physical ideas. Anyway, yeah, I don't think there's anything else really that I want to touch on. So I think we're going to end it here. Thank you all for coming. Hopefully, streams will be back much more frequently now. Don't know for certain, but like we can hope. I'd rather not have like a 4-chapter gap again between streams, but yeah, like things happen and it's hard to be consistent about that sort of thing. And yeah. What else? Follow me on Blue Sky. Yeah, because that's starting from 0 on that one again. But you know what? We ball. So you can find me there. Please, if you have a Twitter account, leave Twitter. Like, just free yourself. You don't need to suffer any longer. Alright. Thank you all for coming. I'll be seeing you.